I've been putting up on YouTube and Facebook about mind control murders that were done in patterns deliberately, and they can be proven. I wrote a medical malpractice book in '76 till April Fool Day of '80, and I had antifreeze put in me and should have died. I wrote about Larry McDonald, congressman, doctor, and a lot of names in the book, and of course it never got published then. Larry Flint was one of the people that was shot by a person programmed to shoot and kill his attorney and shoot Mr. Flint in Lawrenceville, Georgia, while I was in Marietta doing the book. There's a long list of these people that have died. I recently put up All in the Family, Brian Keith, members of that family, twins there on that program, and Brian Keith's daughter actually committed suicide, Daisy, and you can go back. I put it on YouTube if you care to. But these were deliberately done in patterns, and no, I am not joking, and no, I don't just go out and put these up. It's cost me a lot. And let me say this, I found out in '83, after being in a political campaign for U.S. Congress to replace Congressman Dr. Larry McDonald, who I wrote about in the book. His plane went down, the KAL. It was shot down by the Russians when it veered into their airspace en route from Juneau, Alaska to Seoul, South Korea, and all aboard died. So that's how I got in the campaign. Again, this is how mind control can be used. It can make the pilot veer off course. He doesn't mean to. He doesn't know he's going to do it, and the plane shot down. Or he can fly it into the ocean or fly it into a mountain or off into oblivion, okay? And you can put all the flight attendants in the cockpit and 3 or 4 more pilots. If they're all programmed, it's not going to do you any good, even the air marshal. The whole thing is become a joke of sorts with me telling about it, and everybody wants me dead. Like, if I just shut up, then it won't happen. That's not true. I found out about my kidnapping after I'd done the book, and I thought it was because of the book, and I was flown to Flint because I knew about his shooting, and he did an endorsement in Hustler in April of '84. Now, I've put this and who my parents are. I was kidnapped from London, and I'll leave it at that. My 2 sons, Mark and Scott, I just put up about them on YouTube just now. So I'm not going to go any further with it. The All in the Family just happened to be one that I've told about. The young girl playing Buffy, and then Daisy, who was Brian Keith's real daughter, I believe, supposedly shot herself. And then Mr. Brian Keith was going to die anyway of a couple of diseases. I believe one was emphysema. But supposedly because of that death and him feeling bad, he shot himself. And it was marked as suicide. Now then, Sebastian Cabot is the one that I knew about at first, for sure, because of he's British. But the fact that, and then the twins were on there, and one of them died. The one that played Buffy was supposedly overdosed with suicide, called a suicide. But there's a connection I won't get into now to Sebastian Cabot that leads back to Atlanta. So I'll just leave it at that. I won't try to explain it. I put it. But I was brought over here and given the name of a twin, Peggy Ann Dempsey. I married a Childers. The identities of the twins, my identity was stolen, and the twins were Carl and Peggy. That was their names. So they gave me the name of a dead person, and it's been a living hell, I'll say that. But the mother had killed them. They were born out of wedlock. Moulton, Alabama is not too far from Huntsville, where NASA began. So you get in to a lot of other things, hostage taking and of me and changing history. So if you care to look at the YouTubes, you can. But there's a long list of these names of supposedly suicides, which are murders. The Robin Williams was one of them. I won't go into the list. I put them up on YouTube, some of them anyway. But what I was writing about back then, you can Google and find out about mind control and MK Ultra and all that. You don't see this where the murders have been done in patterns and deliberately. And all I'm going to say now is I'm going to go back to, I wrote about Warren and Rosina Matthews. They were forensic pathologists at Piedmont Hospital, where Larry McDonald was a urologist, and he was U.S. Congressman. Of course, his plane went down. They were one that knew how deaths were made to appear of natural cause, which can, way back, this goes back to the Tesla files that were stolen in 30, and who has them. They can make, cure or create cancer or any disease. So you see what put me in peril also telling about this. And there was lists of this, especially in Huntsville. When I was put back in Huntsville there were lists of them. Okay, let me use this one as an example. Bonnie Saylor. She came to me because I worked for the district attorney, Fred Simpson. This is after I wrote the book and had antifreeze deliberately put in me. In 1980, I worked for him, and it was horrible trying to pretend nothing was wrong when your brain was baked and you were told not to speak of it. But anyway, she came to me and she said, "You work for Fred Simpson, the DA, don't you?" And I said, "Yes." She said, "Will you please go to him because I can't get anybody to listen to me." And she says, "I've been to the district attorney. I've been to everyone." She said her husband had top secret at the arsenal, and two other guys worked in the same lab, and they were put under investigation. And suddenly she came home, and within 3 months, I believe, she told me they all were dead. Her husband was in the bathtub with I don't know how he got a rifle, but anyways, it was, I believe she said rifle, not a gun, a rifle. And it was listed as a suicide. He was dead. One of them drove his car into the Tennessee River and drowned. That was listed suicide. And the other one developed a rare cancer and died. So there you go. Now then, what I'm putting on here, I think I can still get it on, is I'm telling about what I just saw on TV about Sawyer, the twins, Sawyer and Sullivan, off of Everybody Loves Raymond. I'm going to put this, and no, I'm not just picking it up. If you look, I've just put up about suicides and shootings and stuff that are really murders by agencies. And I want to mention this real quick, too. The mass shootings like Tucson, Arizona, Gabby Gifford was a congressman. She's married to Mark Kelly, who's a twin to Scott Kelly, both astronauts. So I won't go any further with that. These are how the mass killings, like Aurora, Colorado, and James Holmes. He's not mentally ill. They've used mind control on him, and to force-feed him psychotic drugs is the sickest thing I've ever heard of. And what the doctors are staying quiet about this is unreasonable. But I wanted to say that about the twins, and it's not just their twins. The Sawyer comes from Terry Sawyer. I guess, I hope he's a close friend of mine, who gave me this, because I'm kept penniless, really, this Android, so I could upload all this to the social media, because I can't get anybody to help me. Attorneys will Xerox stuff and take off, and they're gone the next day, or so I can't get anybody to represent me. And so he gave me this, but this has been used in a lot of stuff, the Terry and the Sawyer.